Welcome back to the podcast. It's your girl, Jess Burgio. If you are new here, this show used to be called Unscripted because that is what your girl is. She is unscripted, unfiltered, and really unapologetic about sharing the things you need to know in order to get out of your own way and build the life you are meant to be living. That's right. So we are now called the Jessica Burgio Show, aka She Is Me. And this podcast has been a labor of love for almost 6 years. I have been podcasting since the end of COVID. And we are now in the middle of 2026, which is fucking crazy to think about. And I have learned quite a few things. But the title of this podcast is called Building in Public for a reason, because there are a lot of controversial thoughts on building in public when it comes to social media, when it comes to creating content, and just so many different thoughts when it comes to the online space. I have morphed more into helping women build a really strong personal brand that they can leverage a past version of themselves, a past life, a past business, a past identity into a personal brand that creates the future that they now want to live, whether that's more of a freedom-based business, whether that's becoming an entrepreneur from, say, a corporate life, or stepping into a different version of yourself in entrepreneurship. I know when I was in the beauty industry, I didn't really think of myself as an entrepreneur, even though I knew I was, and I didn't know how to take my business to the next level because I didn't have any true mentors in the business space that were talking about things like this. Now we are not for a lack of information. We can find anything out. And in things we don't even know we need to learn, we see pop up on YouTube, TikTok, all of the places. And there has never been more online help, support, coaches, mentors, masterminds, courses, programs from everybody in every industry. Am I right? And what that has created, at least from my perspective, for a lot of people is overwhelm. Overwhelm of all the things they should fucking do, right? How heavy is your bag of shoulds? How heavy? I want you to just sit for a second and ask yourself, it's fucking how bad do your traps hurt and your shoulders and your back? I mean, you physically can feel the weight of what you know you should be doing, the potential you should be living up to. But for some reason, and maybe this doesn't resonate with you, and this probably isn't the right podcast for you then, because I am speaking to the woman mostly. I know I have a lot of guys that listen to the podcast too, but mostly my mission in life is to help women create more opportunity so that they never feel stuck in anything. And I do that by way of helping you build and grow a personal brand. Having a personal brand in 2026 and beyond is going to be the game changer that gets you out of I have to do this because and into I get to choose this opportunity or create this opportunity because I know who the fuck I am, the value I bring, and the expertise or the experience, knowledge to help somebody go from A to Z, A to B, whatever it is you want to do, whatever it is you do, whether it's helping someone build a website, helping somebody create content, helping somebody in accounting, helping someone with their finances, whether it's coaching people with mindset, fitness, real estate, helping people understand that the way they've always done it doesn't have to be the way they continue to do it if it's not working for them, right? We don't know what we don't know. And so a lot of us for years stayed in the same situations, the same career, the same everything, because we didn't know any better. Maybe you were doing the best out of your friend circle. Maybe you were the best in your company. I know that was true for me in the beauty industry. I had the most clients behind the chair. I was the busiest, the most booked. Right? It was like a street cred for being the busiest, making the most money. But at the end of the day, that ceiling was still a ceiling. And me comparing myself to the people around me did not encourage me to grow. I thought I had quote unquote made it because I started so low. My goals were so low now that I look back. But for me as a kid at 18 going to beauty school, my goal to make six figures, $100,000 was so big. I had so much to prove back then. And I think anytime you have a little chip on your shoulder, you work about 100 times harder than everybody else. It's the one through line I've seen with just about every entrepreneur. If you don't have that little chip on your shoulder about the thing you're passionately talking about, you're going to quit. You're going to give up because entrepreneurship is hard, but so is going to a corporate job that you fucking hate because your boss sucks and you get a 4% raise every year and you have no say when it comes to that. That's why a lot of people want to step into entrepreneurship because of the freedom that it gives you. Not because you don't have to work, because you'll never work more in your life as an entrepreneur. Let me just tell you that right now. And I knew that even when I was behind the chair. For those of you who don't know, if you're new here, I was in the beauty industry for 26 years. I still have a toe in it. I own a salon in downtown San Diego where I work every other week for about 2 days behind the chair, which brings me so much joy. And it gives me an opportunity to create, use my hands, obviously make a little bit of money, and connect with the clients that I have, some of them 15, 20-year relationships with. There is nothing like that sort of connection. So that is why I stay connected to this industry, to stay close to people, to have that interaction, right? It's such a beautiful thing. But there was a season where I had to let it go for a little while and walk away from everything that I built because it was the thing that people said I should fucking do. I never really wanted to own my own salon. I liked being with the herd. I liked the community aspect of a salon because I was one of them. The second you step into being the boss, you are no longer one of them, okay? It is a whole different arena and it feels different and the energy is different. And I quickly realized back in 2018 when I opened my first salon that I didn't want to manage people. Could I do it? Sure. Did I want to do it? No. Was it distracting me from my zone of genius? Yes. So when I had an opportunity a year later, I sold that salon for profit and put everything I had into creating my online presence, building the podcast, creating my social media, trying to figure out where I fit in this entrepreneur space. Because though I had been an entrepreneur at that point for about 18 years, again, I hadn't seen what I was good at. And what I'm good at is helping women, people build the foundation that they need to grow. The foundation of a startup business, the foundation of a podcast, the foundation of an online presence, a personal brand, whatever that looks like. And that is literally the hardest niche to help people with. To get you to go from zero to something is a lot more difficult. That's why so many high-level coaches and other people in this space want to work with people who already have momentum. That makes sense. It's easier to scale somebody who already has credibility, already has momentum, already has an understanding of how this shit works. But I know how hard it is to go from an idea, a dream, a knowingness into actually building something. That gap is fucking huge. And I am here to bridge that gap. And you can borrow my confidence, my belief, my identity, the hours, the blood, the hundreds of thousands of dollars I've invested in coaches, mentorships, courses, trial and error, recording this podcast. This shit ain't free. My time ain't free. And I've poured hours upon hours. We're at almost 400 episodes on this podcast, let alone the podcast that I've guested on. And what I have learned is you have something to leverage. You have something to leverage, which is so fucking cool. Because if you're like me, you're probably close to my age, 30s, 40s, 50s. I'm 40. I'll be 46 in February. That is wild, right? Half my life is gone. But I've had a lot of adult life, a lot of entrepreneurial experiences, a lot of good, a lot of bad, a lot of things in between, a divorce, single mom for a long time. I have a teenage son who's almost 15 right now. I have a long distance relationship. I just got remarried after 5.5 years of being long distance. So crazy, so many things. And I've had thousands upon thousands of conversations with men and women behind my chair to the depths of a podcast. And so when I wanted to step into the podcast space, I looked back at my life. Ooh, what have I been doing for the last 18 years? Talking to people, basically interviewing them. What do you want? Yeah, with their hair. But often after we got past the what do you want to do with your hair, we got into personal shit. We got into life situations. We got into like thoughtful conversation about all sorts of things. You name it, I have had a conversation about it, or 100. From my men clients to my women clients to my kid clients to my old lady clients. I've had some incredible people sit in my chair. And the thing I like most about what I do is the conversation I get to have with them. My superpower is connection. I am a 2 on the Enneagram, which is the supportive helper, and I'm a 4-1 projector. If you don't know anything about human design, I highly suggest you look up your human design. My good friend Karen, I'm going to put her link in the show notes below. She is inside my mastermind right now, but she is a fucking genius when it comes to helping you understand who you are through human design. There are 5 design types. Highly recommend you go check it out. Even if you've had your chart read before and you know what you are in human design, go book a call with Karen. I've had several readings done. I've taken a 13-week course in human design with the one and only Erin Claire Jones. She's read my chart for $500 a call. Karen read my chart the other day and I got so much more out of it. Maybe because I understand it a little bit more, maybe because I've known I was a projector for many years at this point now. But all that to say, there's always more we can learn about ourselves. There's always more that we can understand why we do certain things or we don't do certain things, why we react a certain way to things, why and how we're meant to make decisions. the more you can learn about how you're meant to show up in this world, how you're meant to operate, the more you can understand your place and the more it feels truly like your soul's calling, like your true purpose. When you unlock those next levels of yourself and you allow yourself to be fully seen for your gifts, for who you are, that authentic version of you that maybe used to dress kind of crazy when you were a kid, or maybe used to sing out loud until someone told you to be quiet. Maybe you would dance all the time until someone said you were too much. That was me. I always wanted to wear crazy clothes and be like Madonna. I would literally listen to her tapes on my little tape deck and write down all of the lyrics so I would know the words to the songs. And then I would dance and I would dress up. I was an only child. I had to entertain myself until people started to tell me I was too old to dress like that. When I got a little chunky and my mom told me not to wear shorts anymore. When I started to become a young lady and it wasn't appropriate to say certain things or act certain ways. You're too loud, you're too sassy, you're too opinionated. Even in junior high, I got, you cuss too much. Where did that even come from? I cuss like a sailor and I have since junior high. I don't think it's classy. I don't think it's like necessarily like one of my stronger suits, but it is who I am. And if you ask anybody, like they know me for Fuck Yeah Friday. It's the thing I say and do a lot on the podcast around recognizing your win for the week. My new tagline, just so you know, it's coming out on a hat pretty soon. Get in the game, bitch. That's the new one. And for a lot of you, it's get back in the game, bitch. And I say that with love because I have to say that to myself sometimes. And it literally came from me saying it to myself as I told a friend a story about how I almost didn't shoot my shot for a speaking opportunity. How I was looking at it in a way like, how cool for whoever gets that opportunity. And in the moment, catching myself playing small by not putting my own name in the hat. Do you ever do that? Do you ever count yourself out before you even try? Do you even think sometimes, oh, I could totally do that, but like, I don't have time for it. I could totally say that like her, but I just, Susan and Karen and, Rachel from wherever won't, they'll think it's stupid. Are they your ideal clients? Are they the mission? Are they your soul's calling? Is that who you're meant to serve and help? If you're listening to an entrepreneurial podcast, you are here to serve somebody at a very high level. I know that. And you cannot do that if you keep getting in your own way. You cannot do that if you keep getting in your own way. And sometimes it takes getting really quiet, getting uncomfortable with the silence, the stillness, the nothingness, and going inward to listen to who is speaking to you. Is it a past version of yourself? Is it that little girl who says, don't say that, everyone will tease you, everyone will make fun of you, everyone will call you a name? Is it the judgment you're worried about? What is it? What is the thing that is holding you back from truly expressing yourself and building your personal brand so that you have unparalleled amount of opportunities, so that you never feel stuck in a situation again? I work with a lot of high-level entrepreneurs who feel fucking stuck. At one point, were they making a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, some of them multimillionaires? Yeah. And that can keep you stuck even worse because on the outside, you look like you have success. On the outside, everyone thinks you're amazing, but really you've just become accommodating. You have just built up a tolerance level for fuckery and bullshit in the workplace. You think because you're so good at this one thing that you could never be this successful in something else because it was a fluke that you were even successful in the first place with the other thing. And if people find out that you really don't know shit, like that's it. It's over. I got lucky that I found, and I'll say luck because being a hairdresser was not my idea. It was my best friend's idea at the time. We were in 11th grade in high school and she said, hey, do you want to sign up for beauty school? I found a way we could do it for free. I said, oh, I'd love to. So we signed up at the end of 11th grade. I made it through 12th grade, never took my SATs, basically got out at lunch every day and went and worked my waitress job until we graduated and we started beauty school. And guess what? I hated it. It was like high school. It was about like a bunch of people who didn't know what they wanted to do with their life. And I was like, my mom was right. I should have went to college. I didn't know what I was doing. So I begged her to let me not work and go to college. I had to write her a letter saying that I would graduate college. And a year later, after going to college, I quickly realized I did not know what I wanted to do with my life. And the little bit of success I had in high school, which was writing, even speaking, I had a shitty teacher in college and I failed his English class. And I was so stubborn that instead of taking a different English teacher's class, I took the same guy's fucking class and got a D. And I was like, this isn't for me. And look at me, long form media. Fuck you, teacher. I just didn't know how to do it his way. And when we are pushed into conformity, it is really hard to understand how we're truly meant to show up. So what did I do? I went back to beauty school because I felt like I didn't have any fucking options. Luckily, I was a year older, year wiser, and there were actually different students and teachers at the school. So I had a completely different experience. And I decided if I was going to do this one thing, then I was going to be the fucking best at it that I could be. And I took it seriously. And I spent 8 hours a day at school doing models, doing all the things I could to be the best. And luckily, my mom jumped on board and she said, all right, well, if you're going to do this, we got to get you hired at the best salon in San Diego. So my mom drove 35 minutes downtown San Diego to the quote unquote best salon in San Diego and started getting her hair done there so that I had an in with one of the hairdressers and I got hired there. And that's where I saw people being unapologetically themselves. I'm like, oh, I'm on a different planet. Those people thought they were rock stars, the way they dressed, the way they spoke, the way they did their hair, painted their nails, the makeup they wore. I was blown away. And I was like, my people. I instantly felt like I could be myself. I instantly felt like no matter what I did or said, I wasn't going to be judged because there were some crazy ass motherfuckers in that room. I worked at a salon that had over 25 stylists, 30 stylists, and there was over 15 or 20 of us assistants all on the same floor. It was wild times. That was back in 2001. And it was there that I had mentorship, that I had guides, that I had people showing me what was possible. Making six figures back then, I was like, you charge $500 a haircut? Holy shit, that's like 2 weeks of a paycheck for me as I was working my waitress job. And I was like, I am in the right place. And from that point forward, I focused all my energy on doing hair and being the best that I could be. But there was always a deep rooted part of me that knew this wasn't it. I had always told myself this until you figure out what you want to do. That took me 18 years. And it was a beautiful 18 years. And that career provided me some amazing opportunities, experiences. I made a fuck ton of money. I made some of the closest friends. The coolest people are work in that industry. And to this day, I have absolutely zero regrets. The only regret I had is I didn't get to go to a 4-year party college. Now that I have a high schooler, I'm like, I want you to go experience that. That's my only regret in life. But all that to say, I thought for years I didn't have options, which one helps you stay in the game of wherever you're at. I will say that focusing on one thing for 18 years really does help you become a master. But two, not understanding the power that I had to change my life whenever I wanted to. That one decision could push me in the right direction. Now, mind you, times were different back then. I did not build my brick and mortar business based off of social media or having to yap on camera or how to write short form content or YouTube videos or any of that. If you worked in a salon, you did not know what the fuck the other salon down the street was doing. You did not compare yourself to anybody, maybe the people in your own salon, that was it. So it was easy to be the best of the best. Again, big fish, small pond. Now, everybody feels like a small fish in a big, huge fucking pond. And that can feel very overwhelming when you're in those foundational stages of building your business, right? Or when you know you want to build a business, but you're like, oh, that's so saturated. Oh, there's so many people doing it like so high level. I could never. Well, when you're focused on catching up to these people who have been in the game a long time, you will never catch up. Recently, I had somebody ask if they should work with some high level coaches. And my first question was, why them? Why do you feel like that person would serve you well? Why do you think that that is the right person for you to work with? Because we see the shiny outside version of what they're putting out, and we're not looking at the reps they had to put in the early years to get there. Because now they're selling how easy it is to do it my way. I have the framework, I have the course, I have the program. Yeah, now you figured it out. Now that you have had success, you're going to try to turn around and teach it to a 10, 15-year-old version of yourself? Good luck. It's not going to work the same because things are different now. And the creators that are teaching the things they're teaching now are literally saying things like, you don't have to dance on video, yet dancing on videos. You don't have to do it like this. Do it like this. Yeah, but you did it like that. That's how you got here. That's what is so fucked up about the online space and why it's getting such a bad rap is people aren't willing to play the long game and do the non-scalable shit, the unsexy, time-sucking things you have to do in order to get good. I could not cut a straight line when I graduated beauty school after a year. I could not do a lot of things as well as I could do 6 months, 12 months, 2 years after I graduated because I was new. I didn't really have the confidence yet. I didn't know how to formulate color. I didn't know that I could handle any head of hair that walked into my salon or sat in my chair. But because I studied and I mentored and I practiced, I got better. Hair will not lie. If you cut something too short, you cannot put that back, right? That is the quickest way to learn. But for some reason, we put out pieces of content, they don't hit and we want to quit. Oh, hit it and quit it, right? And I made a post this morning on my Instagram about there being nothing but criticism on social media or crickets. You put out a piece of content, nobody likes it, nobody comments, you get no interaction. That is almost as bad as somebody being like, this is so stupid, though that would be hurtful too, and we don't want that. And I played in that safe space for a lot of the first few years on social media, which is why I feel like I didn't really grow as fast as I could have if I had honestly just been myself, which is so sad to think about. But I can't dwell on where I could be if I would have just only, right? Shoulda, shoulda, coulda, woulda, fucking live in that victim, poor me mentality. I wish I would have known. I wish I could have. Who fucking cares? Today is today. Dust it off. Drop those shoulders. Few shoulder rolls. Get that fucking shoulda backpack off your back. What can you do today that a younger version of yourself would be so proud of? Is it dance on camera? Maybe you really do want to do a TikTok dance on camera. Maybe that would bring you joy, but you think your sister or your brother or your family would think it's stupid. Like, oh my God, I'm 46. I can't fucking dance on Instagram. Maybe you can. Maybe you can actually sing. Maybe you're funny and you're not letting anybody see that side of you because what you do for work feels like it should be more professional and not so funny. I don't know. Maybe you're a really good teacher, but someone told you you seem like a know-it-all. I got that. I used to get that all the time. Turns out, motherfuckers, I'm a projector. I'm an all-knowing guide. I get downloads that I don't even know where the fuck they came from. Or I go and I learn things and I talk about them as if I believe them so people think I know everything, which if you're somebody who is easily intimidated by somebody, I can really get under your skin. Because, bitch, I don't know anything. I just read it in a book and said it out loud. I just paid this mastermind. They just told me about it and then I shared it with you. So if you think I think I'm somebody who knows everything, you have not hung out with me long enough or listened to enough of these episodes. I am just like you, a normal person trying to figure it out, trying to find my own way in all of this. Honestly, I get a little emotional just like thinking about all of the things I haven't done because of other people's judgments. I once had somebody, good friend of mine at the time, she's not my friend anymore, say to me that my stories and what I was sharing in the captions was too long. I just sounded frustrated and that nobody wanted to read that stuff and nobody cared that much and nobody's watching the long form videos and nobody blah, blah, nobody. Yeah. What do we think about her now? And I had another friend who was very insightful at the time say to me, you know why she doesn't like your shit? Because she's not your ideal client. And from that point forward, I realized that if I want my content to work for me, I have to know that I need to only speak to my ideal clients, my ideal people. Even if you never buy anything from me and you only ingest my free shit like this podcast, my newsletter, my social media, I hope you're getting value. I hope you learn something. I hope you feel yourself in these stories. I hope you see yourself in my mistakes, my lessons learned, my wins even. That would be enough for me. This is one of those things that I will do this forever. Just like at one point in my career, I loved it so much, I wanted to just be able to do it for free at one point. When a purpose becomes a passion, it can happen that way. Your passion doesn't have to become your purpose. My purpose was to survive in the beauty industry. It quickly became my passion. People became my passion. People still are my passion. Helping people comes from an innate insecurity as a child to help somebody like me who was in shitty situations as a kid. I don't know who my real dad is. Actually, that's not true. I met him 2 weeks before he died about a year ago. I grew up to a teenage parent. My mother had me right before she turned 19 in a lot of unstructure and then was in an abusive childhood house. So the trauma of keeping myself safe, which recently was brought to my awareness in a hypnotherapy session. I have been trying to keep myself safe since I was a little girl. I've been trying to keep everybody around me safe. My brothers, I have 2 brothers. I have a child who's now 15. So since I was 5 years old, I was trying to keep myself safe. Then it was keeping my first brother safe. Then my next brother. Then as I got older, my mom safe. Then it was keeping myself safe again. Then it was back to keeping my child safe. And I've realized that playing it safe, keeping everybody else safe, has kept me super small. I am meant to be so big, it is unreal. New York Times, bestseller, billboards in Times Square, fucking people out the wazoo calling me to speak on stages. The delulu shit that we are afraid to say out loud. That is my calling. I am meant to be name and lights type of shit. Everybody will know who Jess Burgio is by the time I die. I know that is it's been rooted in me since I was a little kid. You don't see something in other people that doesn't already exist in you. Watching Madonna, watching Michael Jackson, watching Prince, Tom Petty, any of those, like, I'm not a musician, but like, maybe I would have been if someone had poured into me that my dancing and my singing was good when I was a kid. Maybe if they would have seen me as something with potential rather than children should be seen, not heard, and beaten when they're bad, I would have been able to explore that side of me. Where have, maybe not in the literal sense, Have you been beaten and broken so much that you don't even believe in yourself in certain aspects of what you're capable of? If you don't clear some of those blocks, you will not be able to build a proper foundation to hold the level of success and wealth and fulfillment that I know you want in your career. Because I wasn't able to do it myself until I started to unlock some of these beliefs that were blocking me, the belief around making too much money, the belief around having success in a healthy marriage and a thriving child who I could communicate with instead of scream at like I was screamed at or beaten for no reason without any explanation. Those sort of things live with you for a very long time. And it's taken me almost 400 podcast episodes and God knows how many videos on social media to finally express some of the personal things that are my mission to help in public with, people recognize are holding them back. Your past is your past. You have to stop dragging it with you. You have to stop looking backwards, either at the success, the trauma, whatever. It can't come with you because where you're going is so big, that shit's just going to weigh you down. Now, I'm not a hypnotherapist. I am not a licensed clinical therapist. I am not trauma informed in the, technical, educational sense. But again, I've had thousands of conversations behind the chair. I've held a massive amount of space for not only my coaching one-on-one clients in the last 7 years, but women and men in my chairs at every salon I've worked at. It has been my absolute honor to be able to hold space and to learn about how humans think, how our brains get in the way, the tolerance level some people have for relationships, fuckery. Nothing surprises me anymore. A good friend of mine, if you don't listen to his podcast, it's called The Niche Is You with Matt Gottesman, says humans will be humans will be humans. And when he and I were working together a couple of years ago, he helped to enlighten me around thinking my own thoughts, expressing my own ideas while also studying the greats. What are people doing in your industry or your potential industry that you want to be in that you think is admirable, that you think is good, that you think you could also do? And instead of looking at them as competition or that industry is saturated or that person's already so high level, I could never, and you used some of their content as pieces of your own content. Watching other people's stuff, their hooks, the titles of their podcasts, whatever they are thinking or saying, I'm like, oh yeah, me too. It's just like when you read a book and you get like a takeaway from it. It's such a great place to like, oh my God, I read this in this book and this is how it made me feel. This is what it made me think about. That's how you can use other people's content to like further your mission. Study your own tape, study the greats, get better, get cleaner, get clearer on what you're here to do and how you're meant to express that in the world. Are you energetic? Are you funny? Are you silly? Are you like a deep thought educator? Are you someone who can connect on a soul level with people? What is it that makes you slightly unique or different? It doesn't have to be something wild and crazy, but there's only one of you. So you don't have to try that hard to figure it out. You just have to let yourself be seen as the version of you that you really know you are. The one you hide from everybody. Maybe you do fucking know everybody, know everything. Maybe you do. I have some really brilliant friends that do not brag about themselves enough. They have podcasts, they have social media, they speak on stages. And sometimes when I hear them like intro themselves, I'm like, you left out like 10 really incredible things. I know it's hard to talk about yourself sometimes. And it's why I love introducing people on my podcast with like their full bio. Because I always just look at them after I read it, especially if it's like lengthy. And I'm like, do you ever just think like, holy shit, who the fuck's she talking about? And I still get my high level interview guests to be like, I'm like, does that ever get old? And they're like, no, no, it doesn't. That's why knowing who you are, what you've done, even if it's not like a certification or like an educational thing, you have lived experience. You've gotten through some hard shit. So at the end of this episode, I want you to write down all the things you've done in your life, all of the hard things you've gotten through. I survived cancer. I made it through a divorce. I'm a widow. I made it through some really crazy work shit and I came out on the other side. I fucking beat cancer. Like maybe I already said that because I have several friends that have beaten cancer who are badass women. Maybe you have a really high level education, but you think that the audience you're speaking to now won't care or doesn't need that from you. I recently learned that one of my one-to-one clients who's now in my mastermind for the second time has a journalism degree. I literally slapped myself in the head on our last coaching call and I'm like, oh my God, this makes so much sense why you're so good at speaking. You're so good at talking. You're so good at writing. We got her on the TED stage. She killed it. I was like, you never bothered to mention that you had a journalism degree? Why? Because I met her. She was a partner in a law firm. I thought she was just a lawyer. Turns out she has a journalism and psych degree. I was like, okay, hold on. How did I not find this before? And this is after working with her for 3.5 years on and off. She has told me multiple times she wants to have a media empire, podcasting, YouTube, education. I'm like, we need to start an online publication. We need to, like all these things. I was just like, there's the secret sauce. Oh, that's why why have you never talked about that? She has one of the most incredible newsletters / emails I've ever read. It's wild. She should have millions of followers. So unraveling this for other people has always been such a gift of mine because I can really see things from a high level. And it is the thing that brings me the most joy also. How fucking cool to stumble into your purpose and be so brave and unapologetic with I'm not quitting till I figure this shit out fucking attitude, willing to go almost fucking bankrupt to make this dream happen, to be able to give women opportunity to build the life that they actually love. It's next level. And I want this feeling for you. I want you to understand the impact you're here to make. And it's going to take some sacrifice. I'm not going to lie. The opportunity cost is going to be great. The things you're going to have to invest in: time, money, energy, shedding of old self, recognizing those beliefs that are holding you back. It's not about quote unquote healing work. It's about discovery work. The discovery of who you were before the moment, the incident, the thing, the multiple things that may have happened in your life to cause you to forget your mission. Or maybe all of those things created your mission. But the root of who you are has probably always been there. The thoughtfulness, how much you care, the way you approach certain things. I had a friend recently tell a room of 18 people that I am the most non-judgmental friend she has. And I thought, what an interesting thing to say about somebody, as like introducing them as to why you love them so much. And I was like, immediately, I'm like, oh my God, I'm such a judgy bitch. But I'm not judging anybody. I'm just seeing everything. I'll give you like a low level example. If I see somebody wearing an almost cute enough outfit, I'm like, oh, you almost got that. Like I would tweak this, I would do this, I would do that. I don't think, oh my gosh, she looks so stupid, that's ugly. I think, oh my God, that's just like the wrong yellow. It should be like a little darker, or like your hair shouldn't be that shorter, or it should be like parted on this side. That's how I think. I'm not thinking like you got it wrong. I'm thinking about how I could help you do it better. And I never, projectors know not to like say shit unless they're asked. I had to learn that the hard way. That's where the like, you think you know everything, know it all shit came from. We are not meant to give you our thoughts unless you ask. So if you share something with me, I just like it. I like heart it. I say, oh my God, so cool. I don't give you feedback unless you want it. But I've turned a superpower into a business, and you fucking can too. And if this is something you want help with, this is what I do. Working with me one-on-one, jumping into the next container of House of Influence, which is my 5.5-month mastermind. Those are the two ways you can work with me. Or you can just keep listening to the podcast. And with that, this could be a 37-part episode on all the things I learned in entrepreneurship, but we're going to save that for our next episode next week on the Jessica Burgio Show. And if you got any value, one tip, one takeaway from today's episode, or even a past podcast, would you please do me the hugest favor and go leave a rating and review under Apple or Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts, because that is the biggest thank you you can give a creator, is to acknowledge their work and say something kind. And if you really want to double down, send it to a friend. Share it on social media. But the main thing that means the world to me, that gets me in front of more people to spread my mission around not gatekeeping any of this shit. I share all of the things, the no fluff versions of what it took to get from here to there, what I invested in, what I've had to do. And we're going to get more granular on strategy and the mission and the vision that I want to help you create in the next several episodes, because I am done just making content to make content. I am done just showing up to show up. I am done checking the boxes on, oh, I posted today. Oh, I did this. Oh, I got a podcast episode up. No more, right? We are not rolling into our 50th year. I know it's 4 years away, 4.5 years. I never want to say you could have done it if you tried harder. You could have done it if. So I'm doing the things that I know my higher self would do. I'm going to be her now. I have a lot of friends that have adopted that tagline, be her now. And if you need help being her, I got you. I will see you next week on the Jessica Burgio Show. Love you guys so much. See ya.